They told her to kneel. They poured water on her head. And she obeyed, because she was carrying life inside her. But what no one knew was that she was married to a man who carried power that could shake the earth. When the call reached Fort Benning, one order changed everything. Secure the scene. Minutes later, the same cop who mocked her was on his knees, in handcuffs, as the helicopter lifted off. The wind roared with justice. The Georgia sun burned like punishment itself. "On your knees, girl," Sergeant Ray Dalton barked, his voice slicing through the heat. A bottle of water dangled from his hand, cold, dripping. Amira Cole froze beside her dusty sedan, one palm resting on her swollen belly. She was 8 months pregnant, trembling but proud. The officer's mirrored sunglasses reflected her face, the fear, the disbelief, as he took one deliberate step closer. "People like you don't belong in this town," he sneered. Without warning, he tipped the bottle over her head. The water splashed down her face, over her hair, soaking through the white maternity dress that clung to her body. The crowd gasped. Amira pressed her lips together, refusing to cry. "Now maybe you'll cool off," Dalton mocked. She looked up, steady and silent, and whispered, "You don't know who you're humiliating." The words hung in the air like a storm cloud waiting to break. Somewhere in the distance, a faint rumble began, a low thudding sound that no one could yet name. Minutes earlier, Amira had left the local pharmacy with prenatal vitamins and a receipt fluttering in her purse. She'd driven slow, careful, the way pregnant women do when every heartbeat matters. Dalton's cruiser had pulled her over for no reason but her skin. "Step out," he'd said, hand on holster. Now, surrounded by bystanders with phones recording, he circled her like a predator. "Look at that dress," trying to show off for sympathy, he spat. Amira's knees trembled. She placed both hands on her stomach, whispering to her unborn child, "Hold on, baby." A teenage boy filming muttered, "This is messed up, man." Dalton heard him. "You got a problem, kid," he shouted, sending the boy stumbling back. The officer turned again to Amira. "You think crying will save you? You're nothing here." The words cut deeper than the sunburn across her neck. She lifted her chin. "If you only knew who's watching." Dalton laughed. "Who? Your boyfriend with a food stamp card?" Laughter from two nearby officers echoed, cruel and hollow. The cameras kept rolling. Somewhere beyond Main Street, sirens began to mix with that strange distant rumble. Amira's body swayed, exhaustion blurred her vision. "I need water," she pleaded softly. Dalton grabbed the empty bottle he'd used to drench her and threw it to the ground. "You already had enough." The crowd murmured angrily. One woman stepped forward. "She's pregnant, for God's sake." Dalton raised his voice, "Back off or I'll make you next." He turned to his partner. "She fits the description of a car thief," says dispatch. The lie hung heavy. Amira blinked through the blur. "This car, it's registered under my husband's name." Dalton smirked. "And what does your husband do? Gas station attendant?" Her lips parted, but before she could answer, the air shifted. A thunderous chop echoed above. Every head turned skyward as two black military helicopters descended, whipping up dust and disbelief. Dalton squinted through the storm of grit and noise. A convoy of black SUVs screeched to a stop nearby. Men in military uniforms stepped out, followed by one towering figure in decorated dress blues. Amira's eyes filled with tears, this time from relief. The officer's jaw dropped as the figure approached with unhurried authority. "What the hell is this?" Dalton muttered. The man removed his cap, revealing sharp eyes and silver stars gleaming on his shoulders. "This is General Marcus Cole," someone whispered. Dalton froze. The general stopped beside Amira, his voice calm but cold. "Are you the man who poured water on my pregnant wife?" Silence fell so deep it drowned out the rotor noise. Dalton stammered, "Yes sir, I didn't know, that's the problem, the general cut in. You never know who you're hurting until it's too late. He gestured toward the agents behind him. Sergeant Dalton, you are under federal arrest for assault and civil rights violations. 2 officers seized Dalton, forcing his hands behind his back. The sound of handcuffs clicking echoed louder than the helicopter blades. Please, General, Dalton begged. Save it for the court. The general turned to the crowd. This is how justice begins, when silence ends. As the chopper lifted, Dalton inside, cuffed and pale, Amira leaned against her husband's arm. Dust swirled around them, sunlight breaking through. She whispered, "Our baby will never grow up afraid." Marcus looked down and smiled faintly. "No, love. Not while the sky still answers justice."